Welcome to the Breakthrough Podcast with your host, Reba, a podcast motivated to help survivors of trauma heal and focus on their full potential.
Welcome back to another edition of the Breakthrough Podcast. I am Reba, and I am coming here today. If you see my background, for the people that's watching on YouTube, but the people that's not watching on YouTube, my background is a hotel room. So, I am coming to you to record. I did not record. Well, the week is not over because tomorrow is Sunday, but I did not record. I think the day after Christmas or from Friday, which was yesterday, because I was letting my assistant know that it was the holiday and I was getting some rest. I had an amazing Christmas. It was very peaceful, very restful. Also with Christmas, after the day after Christmas, because my kids were so excited, they were so happy. That what brought joy because of their gifts, but not just because of that, because I teach them to be grateful. But I needed this time, and so because I needed this time, and it was amazing. It has been amazing. That Friday, on Christmas, my kids went with their dads, and they stayed with their dads for a whole week. So that's great. And so I think that Thursday, I literally rested. I did me a facial. So if you see my face, because it's clear, I scratched myself with my finger. Don't have that many nails, but whatever, on my eyebrow. But I did a facial. I relaxed. I told myself I was not going to clean, so I didn't clean. I literally relaxed, watched Christmas movies, did a facial, did my hair, and it's pent up now, but I did my hair, and I was happy about that. And then yesterday I had to leave to go out of town because I had to pick up a friend from the airport. So I am in Indiana. That's like 3 hours away from from my house. And so I came out here for a year-end service because I've always heard about this church's year-end service through my husband. He loves this pastor named Pastor YPJ. And so I decided this year I was going to go to the year-end service. I was out here about 2 months ago, and we had such an amazing time that weekend. We said we was coming back for the year-end service. So I am here for the year-end service. I'm having a great time relaxing. Today we're not really doing nothing. The year-end service was last night when we got in town. I think we had about an hour and a half. And then pretty much the year-end service. Then we came back to the hotel. So I've been relaxing all day. I said I'll get the podcast out the way today for next week because who knows? Maybe I want to do it next week. Maybe I'm not feeling it. But it's a lot of stuff I got to do for the new year, too, and get prepared, too, mentally. So, with that being said, let's just get into it. This podcast is pretty much what it's talking about. Christmas, being grateful, but it's also telling you what I'm going to do up in the next coming year. This year has been, I was talking to a friend and telling them that this year wasn't all bad. I think we don't be grateful for the things that actually happened to us in a positive way. So what actually happened with me this year, I had a stroke in June in Memphis, as most people know. And then slowly but surely after that, all these tests I have to take all the time and still trying to figure out what was happening with me and everything else. So I'm still in the process of taking tests. But this year has been amazing. I got married this year. This year I stepped into pretty much God telling me like it didn't change until about a couple months, but God telling me I need to focus on not just making other people happy, but making myself happy and doing what I need to do. And I told you guys that on the last podcast. And so I think this year, 2025, is what I'm doing. Since I said I wasn't going to set any goals, I was just going to listen. God told me to write letters to myself, and I'm going to express them on the podcast. So if you watch me, as you listen to me, You will hear personal things, personal stories about myself, and you would get to know who I am. I also deleted my Facebook and my social media, not Instagram, but my social media on Facebook, because I figured and feel like a lot of people try to get to know you through social media, and your close friends and family members, they don't call you because they know about your life through social media. So I stopped doing that. I deleted it because I'm fasting it right now for an answer, but I also deleted it because it was just getting to the point where when I started going through stuff, I noticed people is reading my page, and I don't put my personal stuff on my page. And so it's like, let's see who really listens to you. Find out, figure out what's going on with you without you have to put it on there. If you're not reaching out, I'm not telling you. That's just how I am. I'm very personal. So you can see highlights, but that's it. I kept Instagram because Instagram is more inspirational, spiritual for me on my side of who I follow. So if you want to know anything, you really ain't going to know nothing there because I post motivational stuff. If you want to know something about me, it's here on my podcast. My podcast is actually where I let everything out and I tell everything. And so if you're not following me or you're not listening to me, you won't know. With that being said, gratefulness. I'm grateful because it's Christmas. My kids was more excited than they was last year. And last year we did something different. But this year, it was just like, they was just so, to see the happiness on their face. If you know me, you know that I'm a mother, that I am about my kids. So my son is 17, my daughter is 7. My son is, going into himself more as a young man. He's going to Costa Rica in June. His father been paying for it. So by himself for a whole week. Next year is his senior year. Y'all just don't know. I'm going crazy. Him going off to college. He's in a military academy, so he might be going off to, doing things with the military, whatever. I need to focus on what my kids are doing. My daughter is 7. And so because me and her dad is not together anymore, and that's my ex-husband, she's going through a transition too, which I think she's used to it because we've been not together for 3 years, but she's still going through a transition because I was telling my son, I have to transition her from when he gets ready to leave after next year off to college. So that's her brother that she knows, that she lives with, that she has been with the whole time. So all her life. So I got to get ready for that transition because that may have some different effects on her. A lot of people don't think about that. Also, because my son, everybody knows my son battles with ADD, helping him being an ADD mom just to help him with his mental illness and helping him to understand that there's nothing wrong with him. So this year has been enlightenment for me. Also, I remember at the beginning of this year, I talked about on the podcast, I was going to overcome this anxiety. I am not there yet, but within the last 3 months, my anxiety has been tested where it's like I had to take time out for myself. I noticed because since I had the stroke, a lot of different things have changed about my body, and because I am getting older. So because things are changed by my body, I got to be aware of certain things, especially my anxiety, my stress levels, my anger, my issues, my mental health. And so anybody and anything that's around me or anything that affects that, I need to, 1, remove it, 2, or even though I can't change people, I can change me and I can change my situation. So that's what it has taught me. I am reading this amazing book that I put down every 5 minutes. I got it 2 weeks ago from the library, but I put it down every 5 minutes because it is just amazing. So this is called, can't see it, but whatever, Forgetting What You Can't Forget. And it's pretty much a book and a story about making peace with your painful memories and forgiving people that you never forgave. And so I think because I'm going through this transition of, I was talking to my friend that's down here with me, and I was telling them that with everything that happened to me when childhood, a lot of stuff is coming back to my memory of why I am the way I am, or why I did certain things the way I did certain things in my adulthood. when you start healing, and I tell people this all the time, we bury stuff and we forget so much stuff that it's hard to try to keep the good memories away from the bad memories. And sometimes the bad memories actually helps you to heal better because it'll make you understand why you're the way you are. And a lot of memories are from my mom, of course. But I also tell people we are adults and that it's not your parents' job for you to forgive them, and it's not your parents' job as an adult to still hold on to things that your parents did. As an adult, it's not fair to them. You should be able to heal and move on and let it go. This is why I forgive, or I forgive easily. I do. I forgive very easily. But I also teach my kids. I always say sorry and apologize to my kids. And sorry and apologies are two different things. I teach that. If you don't know, then go look it up. But this is why I apologize to my kids so often, all the time. Because parents make mistakes too. And I'm not the perfect parent, but I am a great, great mother, if I may say myself. So, with that being said, the reason why I'm writing the letters to myself for the podcast is healing, but it's transparency. Of course, I'm being more transparent next year, 2025, on my podcast. I signed up for speaking engagements. I signed up for speaking engagement classes, so I'll be doing more speaking engagements and traveling and doing things I need to do. Me traveling right now and taking leaps of faith just to rest and get away from my house. I think a lot of people need to do that because a lot of times we get confused on why we are stuck in our mindset. Sometimes it's our household. Sometimes it's our environment. Sometimes it's where we live. Sometimes we need to move. It's just the truth. Sometimes we need to just get out of our environment and just think. When I go to hotels, the hotels help me to think, and I don't have to worry about washing the dishes, washing the clothes, doing this, getting them ready for school, such. The hotel makes me, you have nothing else but to do but rest and read, because I love reading so much that I can read. I get the time to read. Like I said, I got this book 2 weeks ago, but I broke it open at work and haven't picked it up since we've been on break. I don't go back to work till January 7th, so I can read this book from front to back and be done with it. I just need to take the time. So I'll be here till tomorrow. So with that being said, the letters to myself, back to the letters. I got this not epiphany, but I guess the Holy Spirit was talking to me because I was listening to a podcast when I was coming on my way down here. And it was just talking about healing and who God placed you to be and who God really wants you to be as a woman and man of God. And it's talking about the scriptures, how God breathed into us and we are already his beings and everything else, right? So it gave me the reassurance that I need to write these letters to myself. One, because I was battling unforgiveness of myself for so long. I did not forgive myself for a lot of things I've done in the past, things I've done currently, my relationship, and it was taking a whole toll on me. And so, just the same way I could say I forgive people easily, it's hard to forgive yourself easier because you harp on the things and say, well, I coulda, shoulda, woulda. But God don't live in shoulda, coulda, wouldas. He lives in, I forgive you, learn from it, and move on, and trust my word, and trust me. And so what 2025 is doing is it's going to break a lot of things down, walls down for me. It's going to give me the peace that I need, where I know the anxiety don't have to come up because I'm trusting God. I know that the things that I'm worried about, I don't have to worry about anymore because I'm trusting God. And I have released them doing this letters. Also, I'm doing letters to myself because I teach in my coaching that I do letters to people that you feel like you can't forgive. And I have people not burn them because I heard about burning them, but I have people just write them and they do whatever they want. I still have a letter to my mom I wrote 4-5 years ago when I first wrote my first book. Yeah, going on 5 years. And I kept it. But I was talking to a friend and she was telling me that she was listening to somebody say, burn it. I might burn it. I still have the letter. But my point is, me saying that is, letters to myself is recognition that, okay, you may have made a lot of mistakes. That's fine. And I might keep my letters for myself only because I have kids. And so I want my kids to understand and know where I was and where I'm going. And so one point in time, they may read it now or they could read it later. I also might turn it into a book because I am a writer. So I write books. I'm still writing books as we speak. I'll be writing books till God Take Me Home. Only because my books are purposely to help other people grow, learn, and have so much outcome from the things that I've done. So I use my own testimonies and stories to help other people. Also, my letters are forgiveness, reassurance, and it's just to see where God's going to take me. Once I would open up these letters and I write them to myself, I want to see where God's going to take me for 2025. It's a big trust thing. I know the desires of my heart. I still journal. I still write. I still read my Bible every day. I still pray consistently. But also with all that, I need to know that even though we're going into a new year, that I am not the same person, that every year that I change, that I turn another age, that whatever comes, that I am going into the new year a different person. I'm breaking off more stuff. The problem I think we get is that as we get older, we have this saying, we get stuck in our ways. And that means who I am is who I am. And so we don't allow the change or the evolving, what I like to say, because nobody really has to change. I don't feel like that changing is changing who you are with God. I feel like evolving is making sure you're taking things to another level. And those are two different things, because when people ask you to change, necessarily they be wanting you to change who you are. Well, who God made you to be is who God made you to be. Do God want you to evolve? Yes, He does. He wants you, if you need to change in being a changed man or woman, then that's different. But that's a form of evolving, meaning I grew up and I don't do the same thing. And it's because I'm not a child anymore and I'm a man or I'm a woman and I'm learning from my mistakes, then I don't do the same thing. We get older and we get stuck in our ways. And about the age of 40 years when you get stuck in your ways. Oh, that's just who I am. Well, that's a lie. It's not who you are. Because who God actually created you to be, and if it's negative, that's not who God created you to be. So that mindset needs to change. Definitely. The mindset needs to change because that's not who God created you to be. God created you to be a being of His. I feel like we are on this earth, and I say this all the time to our friends and family. It's not for us. It is not for us. So if you're waking up every day, just working a job, and you're just setting your ways, and you're just comfortable with just being, that's a problem. I think that's a problem for you, but that's also a problem for God too, because you're not happy. Your happiness don't come from another person. Your happiness don't come from you being married. Your happiness don't come from you being single. Your happiness don't come from your kids. My happiness personally comes from me knowing that every day I'm going out in the world, where I tutor at the schools for the kids, or I have friends that I meet and people that might be in my life for seasons or lifetimes, that I'm helping them come closer to God. I really think that's all our purpose once you get to know the Lord. It's not about just getting in heaven. That is so great. You know the Lord, you claim Jesus as your Lord and Savior. That's amazing. You get into heaven. But at the same time, what is your work that you're going to do while you're here? I'm looking at this man outside fixing on his car. So my eyes keep on going to the right. But what are you doing while you're here? Is it just to work and get a paycheck? Because money is not the all in all. Money is not everything. You're talking to somebody that's been homeless twice. And I'm talking about homeless. Not just living with people. A lot of people say it was homeless. Yeah, that's homeless. But I'm talking about not living with anyone. So money is not the all in all. It's about the powerful impact that you see yourself having on other people. And I say impact because we can have a negative impact on a powerful impact, positive impact on people. We can have a negative impact on people. Sometimes your friends, who people just don't understand this one, might be who you need to get away with from to involve. Sometimes your family members are made who you need to not cut off. You don't have to cut off, but put a pause or a break for you to evolve where you need to be. Sometimes it's your circle and your surroundings of why you can't get out of the circle or the people. The places you are. Or the mindset. If you're surrounded with the same people that don't have the same mindset, I know this year a lot of my friends probably mad at me because, not because I cut a lot of friends off, but I put a lot of friends at a distance. Only because I watch your lifestyle, I watch your actions, and I watch who you are. And if that's not the lifestyle I want to live, that's not because I want to help you grow and I want to help you get to know the Lord. Just the truth. But if that's you choosing not to have that lifestyle, not saying you're going to be perfect because I'm not. No way, short form, and fashion. Okay? But if you're choosing to repeat the same thing, I need to distance myself only because I want iron sharper iron friendships or relationships. I've been saying that for the last 3-4 years, and God has been showing me more and more and more people that need to be around me. I want the friends that we're praying together, praying for each other, holding each other accountable. I say this all the time because your friendships are a big part, just like as your relationships are. You don't have those friends holding you up when something happens. I promise you, when you go through a storm, you ain't going to know who to go to. Because they're not going to be the ones that you need to be with. They're not going to be the ones you need to be around. And yes, going to God is the number one person you need to go to. But I know personally, I had some weak moments where I couldn't go to God. And I'm like, I need somebody to pray for me. I need somebody to really reassure me that this thing is going to be okay. And I'm not tripping. And I had those friends that I can call. That'll be like, Reba, nope, pull you back. I'm usually the positive person, the person that's the coming in the room and lighting up the room, or the person that, and I had my best friend Missy that was going through something, and she just like pulled me back and was like, this is not you. You need those kind of friends. This is not you. The friend I know is happy. The friend I know has joy. The friend I know brings love, and she talks positive. And I was just like, you know what? She right. I could be down for a moment, and everybody needs to have their times. I do. I think people need to step away and have their times. But I think I was battling a depression where I was going into a deep, dark part of my life that I needed to be pulled out. And she started it. Then my friend Shanae, she's so powerful. I know that God brought us, she's at my job. I know God brought us together because when I was really going, and I was like talking about how am I losing my faith and my trust in the Lord and everything else. Not that, I still love the Lord and I'm still saved. I was losing my faith. Like, I don't think God can do what I believe he's supposed to be doing. Well, you can't make God work without faith. Because he's just going to look at you. Without faith, nothing. Actions is dead. You got to have faith. And when I was losing my faith, she was a friend that was like, we're going to get in this word. Let me send you some inspirational stuff. Sending it every day. It got me back. So what I'm saying for 2025 to you and whoever's listening, if you don't have those friends, family members, moms, dads, spiritual fathers, spiritual mothers that are going to lead you back to the Lord, I'm sorry. If you have a relationship with Christ, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for you to be who God called you to be and stay that positive person. My friend Chisa, meeting her, she has just this peace that we just collect and automatically just connect. It's like I could tell when I get riled up, she'd be like, it's going to be okay. She brings the positive side. My friend Brandy. Me and her just got back reconnected or whatever. And she's getting to know the Lord. She's just getting her relationship with God. But her heart is sweet and her heart is genuine. And so what she does is she brings the solution. She tries to bring the solutions. Okay, I'll help. Okay, I'll do this. She's solution oriented. Sometimes God separates you from certain people so they can get it together. Sometimes also God separates you from some people so you can get it together and appreciate who you have in your life. Sometimes the separation ain't for you, for you. For the other person. It's for you to wake up and say, okay, I didn't appreciate this person. I'm going through a whole appreciation all over again. Appreciate my husband for who he is. My husband is the most. He my person. I'm just going to say that in a little snippet. My husband is my person. I ain't never loved like I love him. And, and I had to learn this year, stop making him an idol, but I love him. That man has a love over him, a peace over him that just, and he's not perfect. He has his flaws. I was writing my journal about him this morning. He has his flaws just like everybody else. But he my person. He who I need is my husband. He's 40 and still sexy shirt made for his birthday. But anyway, he my person. And he going through something right now that I have to pray for and allow God to heal his heart and heal him. Certain things have to do with me. Most of the things don't. That's harder when you got a spouse that you want them so much to see who God has them to be. And it's not that he don't see who God has him to be, but his past trauma and the things that he went through as a child rears up, and it rears up in your relationships and in your marriages. And so your spouse looks at you like, oh, you're the greatest person in the world. And sometimes your spouse might not feel like that. I know there's all times I'm like, I do not feel like I'm a good wife or a good mother. There have times I have failed both my kids and my husband. And I have to pay for that. And not saying I pay for that in a bad way, because sometimes we do. But I'm talking about in the point of fact of learning from it. If you're not learning from it, it's going to be bad. Because sometimes you got to realize some people just stuck in their ways. And they don't want to change. They want to stay in the woe is me. And sometimes not. You got to separate yourself from the people. Or sometimes you are that person. So I said all that to be said. I'm grateful for Christmas. I'm grateful for walking into another year. That June of this year, God didn't take me home. I know I'm going home with the Lord, but he didn't take me home for a reason and a purpose that I need to conquer, and I need to get up on it 2025. I am not perfect. I love who I love, and I forgive who I forgive. I forgive everybody, though. But I know that God has me here for a purpose. And it's not for me. So, with that being said, I hope you guys have a great, and when I say great, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I love you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for this amazing year. My listeners just coming back and listening to me. Thank you for my YouTube subscribers. Thank you for the people that's coming through and new listeners. And I thank you for the testimony. So I thank you for the blessings. I'm so, so grateful for this platform. Because this platform is actually what helped me get through a lot of stuff. Telling my story. So if you want to know more about me, like, share, and subscribe. Share this out to somebody that you might think they need it. You never know. And with that being said, bye. See you next time. See you next year, 2025, on the Breakthrough Podcast.